everybody, just subscribes here. We got a Shaddoll deck profile, so this is pretty cool. New meta. All right, start whenever you want.
All right, so first up, you've got 3 Mathematician.
Oh, best card.
It's super. It's super for your setups because you can send just about any Shaddoll from your deck to the graveyard. The only reason that you might consider Armageddon Knight over him would be because you can send Beast directly using Armageddon Knight. But this guy can just send Squawkamala or Lizard if you just play online.
Or Felice, yeah.
And then do that and send Beast anyway. And he can also send Felice or a Light if you have like a BLS in your hand. And with Felice, since he's a spellcaster type, you can make Arcanite Magician and Black Rose and just win duels.
And tribute for Shape Snatch.
Next, you play 3 Shaddoll Hedgehog.
The good one.
Yeah, you flip him and you search the fusion spell or core if you're really desperate. And if he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, then you search any other Shaddoll. So he's really good to just fuse with from your deck and just get another piece that you need.
Very true.
2 Beast.
Bad card.
It's not a bad card. It's actually really good because you just get a free draw, so it's good if you need to dig for back row like Emptiness or Sinister Shadow games. But I don't play 3 because it breaks your hands a lot, which is why I got eliminated in the top 8 was because I had him.
Unfortunate.
Well, actually for multiple reasons, but multiple bad cards, but he was in there. 2 Falco.
This is a good card too.
He is really good. He sets himself from your whenever you send him to the grave, so you don't actually need to draw him a whole lot. So, and if you draw multiples of him, or if he's your only Shaddoll in your hand, then it's pretty bad. So that's why you only play 2, so that you hopefully don't just open him too often. He's also a tuner, which is really important because he makes Goyo Gardens and Armades and all types of good things. 2 Dragons. He's basically the MST of the deck, and he also flips to bounce a monster, so really good in the mirror match, and it also gets around like effects that activate when sent to the graveyard, so things like Dante, which I played against today. 2 Squawkamala. You don't really need 3 because he's just kind of a stepping stone to get to whatever you actually want to send.
He's also a big beefy beater.
He's also a beefy beater, and he's a level 4 for a rank 4 place. But he can also send any card to the grave, so if you send him with Mathematician, then you can also send your core and then grab a fusion back, which is really good.
Wicked.
Next, I've got the Baby Dragon engine, which is 2 of the lights and 1 of the darks. I'm not quite sure about this engine yet. Playing it today, it caused me to brick a few times, but it also got me out of bad situations a lot. Part of the reason is that I always drew him before I drew them, which is not good. But these guys make really good fusion material for Construct, because if you special summon them first, because all your monsters are dark, then you can just play your fusion spell, and then you also get him back. So normally Construct sends something to the grave, and that's how you even out on the fusion, but then you actually go +1 if you use him.
Oh, baby.
Then I play 1 Fellas for the pro plays with Mathematician.
You don't want any more, because drawing it is bad.
It is bad, and I love to draw it for some reason. It's also a level 4 tuner, so you can soul charge it back for level 8 synchros, ranked 4 plays, just a free pop. It's really versatile. And then to round off the monster lineup, 1 Blackluster Soldier and Void of the Beginning.
You don't play,
lots of games.
don't play the Dark Arm dude?
I do not play Dark Arm because your grave gets filled up way too fast, and you're just going to end up dead drawing him later. And as you can guess, there's quite a few dead draws in this deck that can happen. So that's why I'm thinking about messing around with the engine. All these things can be dead, but the nice thing is that Shaddoll Fusion gets you out of most of them. So onto the spells. There's your 3 Shaddoll Fusion.
Yeah.
3 Upstart Goblin, because the deck, as it is right now, kind of needs to get to Shaddoll Fusion pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to dig for it, plus it also helps you draw cards that aren't searchable throughout the deck, so your trap cards basically.
Most decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Need to get to their good cards quick.
Yeah. Then 2 Soul Charge. A lot of people play 1 or nothing in Shaddolls, but Shaddolls load their grave really fast, and you run out of deck options really fast. So you need to be able to have be able to play out of your graveyard sometimes, and this card helps with that. It also brings back your fusions when you need to.
Oh yeah.
1 Allure of Darkness. A lot of things are dark, helps you dig. Also gets rid of beasts when they're in your hand when you don't want them to be. 1 Foolish Burial, basically a Rota or a multi-tool for the deck. 1 Book of Moon, you can flip your own monsters face down or just disrupt your opponent.
I love that card.
Yep.
So good.
For traps, 3 Sinister Shadow games.
This is the best trap.
It is the best card. You want to open it all the time because it helps you trigger your flip effects, which would otherwise be really slow, and it also helps set up your grave and trigger more effects that way.
Yeah, for anyone that's not clear, the flip effects are the effects you actually want to resolve.
Yeah. Also, it sends the card to the grave first, and then flips the monster face up. So if you do have a situation where you open with just Falco and this card, it also immediately makes Falco's flip effect live. Because you can flip them right there after sending the card. Just be careful that you don't use the card that you send to the graveyard's effect right away if your opponent's, say, going to attack it, because then you can't use the flip effect if they're during that battle phase. One Torrential Tribute, one Bottomless Trap Hole, one Compulsory Evacuation Device, and one Shaddoll Core.
And no warning.
This card is a really bad card to draw.
Yes.
But it has a lot of utility just being sent to the grave to grab back a fusion, because your opponent is going to avoid sending your fusions to the grave as much as possible. So basically, you use this to grab them back and not give your opponent the option. And then if the fusion does end up getting sent to the grave, you just grab back Core, which is another fusion material.
Oh yeah, good card.
I don't play Warning because 2,000 life points to negate one summon. I mean, it's good, but Shaddolls can have a slow early game, which means you're taking damage, and you want to have Soul Charge as an option for late game. Also, it's not so great against things like Dragon Rulers or Light Swarms or even the Mirror Match. And last card in the main deck are the 3 Emptiness.
This is the card that's good against dragons. And
This
like
card
swords.
just screws over most of the decks in the game, so that's why I played at 3. Plus, if you have a Winda backed with this, it's unlikely that they can get rid of both in a turn.
Very true.
Yeah. So onto the extra deck. 3 Shaddoll Construct. Basically, it's your beater. It's your out to an established board. It's really, really good. You use it a lot more than you're going to use Winda, so I play 3. I have yet to actually use 3 in a duel, so I might end up cutting it down to 2.
And you also can send the core to get back to fusion immediately.
Yes,
as well.
you can also send the core and just grab back your fusion right away, or you just get another effect off, depending on what you use as its materials. There's your 2 windows. I've never needed 3. Sometimes I use 2, but that's not very often. Whenever you make a window play, basically you've already have advantage and you're already in a good situation. So this is just your opponent's not allowed to come back card.
It's also really good because it's 2 darks, so you can send all the Shadow monsters.
Yeah,
with
you
it.
can also trigger 2 effects off of it.
Yeah.
And also, since they're lights and darks, they're also really good for super polymerization, which a lot of decks like Burning Abyss and Light Sworns have a really hard time dealing with super poly into one of these guys.
Yes.
Alright, that's it for fusions. For synchros, you've got Armades, Keeper of Boundaries for your Falco and our either Falco and Hedgehog or Falco and Mathematician.
Yeah. Quick question. I forget. Can you instant fuse with their monster in a face down you have? Because you know the attribute
with a super poly.
with a face down that you.
Yes,
yeah,
you can
okay.
fuse with them, so long as you know what they are.
Okay, good. That makes the card better. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 Goyo Guardian.
Oh man, has this ever come in clutch?
This has come in clutch a lot. Like, you can make Lightsworn players scoop just by keeping their last name out of the graveyard, or even taking Eclipse Wyvern that they basically have to banish a boss monster and then they lose the boss monster. It's also just good at stealing cards that your opponent doesn't want to like. They want to have them in the graveyard and you just take it from them. So it's pretty decent. Then Black Rose and Arcanite for your level 7s. Really awesome whenever you don't want to blow up your own crap, and really good whenever you just want to reset the board, because this deck has problems with making Exotonite. 1 Scrap Dragon, he's my level 8 because he's a big beater, and I can destroy my own Shaddolls, get their effects, and then also take out other cards.
That doesn't seem very easy to make though. You'd probably need 2 level 3s in the tuner.
Yeah, most of the time what you're going to do with him is it's going to be for a Soul Charge play whenever you're bringing back Fellas.
Police, yeah.
And then you make him, and then you just have a bunch of monsters in an unbreakable board. 1 Leo for your Falco plus Construct or BLS plays. You don't make him very often, but sometimes you just need the raw beat power if they normal something that's like a Dragon Ruler or something.
Yeah, it's not just the beater, it's also like untouchable.
Yeah, it's also good for that. 1 Allied Justice Decisive Arm to make the Lightsworn matchup easier.
That's a beat power.
That's beat power, yeah. But I haven't made him yet, so I might end up allocating him to the side deck. So that's it for Synchros.
A lot more synchros than I thought you did, actually.
Just 3/4s. You don't really make them that often, but he's in there because you can, in the late game, whenever you're going to be using Soul Charge, you put your Shaddolls back into your deck so that you can use your Shaddoll Fusion. He's an out to a lot of different cards, like basically anything that's put in attack position. But what his bonuses are over Castell here are that he protects himself from destruction, and he's also a little bit bigger. So a lot of times going into him is going to throw off your opponent because they're going to expect this guy,
Yeah.
but then you're going to make him.
That's why I still play those cards as well.
And then this
then
card
pass
gets rid
that.
of your
Anything.
basically any problems good in the mirror match, and it bounces continuous spell and trap cards like that are going to screw you over.
The mirror match must be difficult because you have to play a keep away game with the extra deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there's lots of builds that'll be doing like Caius's and Monarch Storm 4th to counter that. So for the side deck, 1 Majesty's Fiend and 1 Caius.
Both of these can end the game on their own.
Both of them can. I'm going 1 and 1 right now, partially because I don't know which one I like better. And I sided in him and not him basically every game because this just locks out a lot of decks that'll be giving you trouble, especially decks that'll just be trying to gather advantage slowly over time through monster effects. And it's also a light. Spells, 1 Mind Control, really good in the mirror, steal their face down Falco, just do shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
3 Mystical Space Typhoon for all the floodgates that people will side against you. Screw you, Shadow Mirror, screw you. 2 Super Polymerization. Card is actually amazing. I would like to have a third one maybe in the side deck or even in the main deck because it's good in the mirror match and it's good against Burning Abyss and just about any light deck that you can think of. Like Super Polying for a Judgment Dragon whenever that's their one special summon is just incredible. 2 Forbidden Lance because people like to side in defusions and things like Phoenix Wing Blast, and this just helps protect your fusions and even your other monsters from it.
Yeah.
It also
Best battle trap in the game.
yeah,
Ooh.
basically it'll stop your opponent from running over window a lot of the time.
I main deck that card. Oh my god.
Boys, a 4! 4! I rolled a 4 and a 3. Yeah.
All right,
That was a good
2
roll.
Imperial
Good
Ironwall.
roll.
This card's to make the Prophecy mirror match, or not mirror match, but Prophecy matchup and Dragon Ruler matchup easier.
Yeah, because you have a tough time versus Prophecy because they can just banish all your
Yeah,
everything.
honestly, Prophecy's not a huge issue for me. I don't think so because they have to have at least 4 cards to do anything. So if once you start out advantaging them, they're pretty much screwed. 2 Light Mirror once again for the Lightsworn matchup because you don't want them to start getting mills. It also forces their Judgment Dragon to attack over Winda.
Yeah.
Well, he'd have to anyway, but it forces him to just be a beat stick, and Construct can deal with him then. Well,
Do you find
actually,
it's-
she can't because she's light. So
Do you find it's absolutely okay to play this when, like, if you think you need police stuff? You don't mind missing out on things like that?
No. It's either I'm going to side out the Fellas if I'm siding these in,
Yeah.
or it's one of those it hurts you more than it hurts me scenarios.
Or the Wyvern Burster guy.
The Wyvern Burster guy, it just stops his search effect, and since I'm horrendously unlucky, then
You'll probably draw the Collapse Serpent
I
first.
always draw the Collapse Serpent first. Like I don't think I've even drawn the Wyvern Burster today really beforehand. And then the last card is 1 Breakthrough Skill. I haven't
Breakthrough
sided
Skill.
it yet, but I figure like it'll have some good uses against maybe spell books or just like a general multi-tool card against a lot of decks.
Yeah, same with the mirror match too.
Oh yeah, also helps in the mirror match. Though you tend to not special summon more than once anyway.
True.
against the mirror match, so yeah. That's
All right.
the deck.
All right, thanks for the deck profile. Remember to like, comment, subscribe for content similar to this and for more Fedora tricks.